Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Steel City Commuters podcast. I am Austin Cairns, joined here not in the media hub, but side by side on Zoom with my good friend Nicholas Brown from New Kensington, downtown Nick Brown, Prince Brown, whatever hell you want to call him. We're here on Zoom. We got a good episode for you guys this week. We're going to talk about some NFL. We're going to talk about some of our day-to-day life going on at Point Park. And we also have a very big announcement that's coming up this Sunday if you did not check out Nick Brown's socials. Before we get into that, though, Nick, it's late. I'm tired. You're tired. How are you?
I'm fine. You're cranky, which means I got to put up with a lot. But that's okay.
I'm not cranky. I'm actually in a really good mood today. It's been a solid day.
I don't know
Outside of the
how.
rain, it's been a good day.
I don't know how because you didn't drink tonight, so that could have a little bit of effect. But anyways, it's going well. We finally had some rain. I have been soaked the past few days. One because it rained yesterday, and two because it rained today. I'm not tired of the rain. I'm just ready for winter. I am ready for the snow, honestly.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I agree. I think it's time we bring in the snow now. I mean, don't get me wrong. Summer was nice, but summer grind's over. We're in the autumn of opportunities now.
Yes. Say
Gotta
the
be.
night. Say you could put summer to bed and open up the door to the autumn.
In the wise words of Nick Brown, summer has been axed.
It has been a long time ago.
Now you seem tired tonight. How was bingo? You had a bingo earlier today.
I'm fine. Or we'll pull through. We'll see once we get to my Cowboys. Maybe that's when I'll perk up when I have some new stats. We'll see.
Okay, well, we'll get to them first. But before we get into your Cowboys, let's talk about some upcoming events. I mean, I would say the biggest one has to be our guest this Sunday. And if you couldn't tell by Nick Brown's social media post earlier today, the one, the only, Dean Keith Palo of Point Park University is going to be joining us on both Steel City and two Jagoffs. I didn't forget this time. It is
Oh,
another crossover episode. This is the third, I think, that me and you have done now, Nick, in terms of crossovers. We had President
yeah.
Versailles. Bernie, I want to say, was the first, and this is going to be the third. So monumental moments are happening. It is your second week in a row on two Jagoffs because you actually hosted an episode, which we'll talk about in a second here. But no, it's exciting. I don't want to get into it too much because I want to do our recap on it next week when the episode's actually out. But since you were there side by side with me, kind of give the some insight on what the viewers can be looking forward to.
Let's just say Keith Palo showed up in a suit and a tie,
You look good.
and I don't want to give away his actual predictions for this weekend, but let's just say he did not plan his pick for the color tie that he chose and how Austin swung everything together. I don't want to give that away. I'll put that shirt down. Nobody wants to see that. That's like putting us to sleep. I don't want to see the Vikings. Let's just say Keith showed and gave us a lot of credit, but he also came in with a perspective of what he did in his career that led him to where he's been at Point Park for now 23 years, but he's been in this business for almost 40 years. Keith has a lot of insight into sports, into Point Park, into the connections that you make and we make in general, and just the overall business, the feelings of it. Keith was an amazing guest. There was a lot of time crunching, so we didn't get the full hour and 15 what we always aim for, but we got 41 minutes out of him, and definitely Dean Palo has said that he wants to return back. He wants to come back, and he definitely will be on the list to come back later down the line, especially when Pittsburgh starts to get perked up and there's a lot more events to talk about and kind of shed light to, like the NFL draft.
For sure. And Dean Palo has a whole wide variety of experiences and different sports he's been involved in his career, which I know me and you both would love to explore further with more time. I actually called him out on two Jagoffs. I'll say the same on Steel City. I don't have any shame. CityCast took forever, and it actually took up too much time for us where we didn't have enough time in the media hub. That's besides the point. They're their own entity. We're our own entity. But at the end of the day, I still feel like we made the best of the situation that we had earlier today. And even with us both being rushed and stressed, I would say you did a really good job. I did a really good job. And Palo is just a really good guy. Great guy.
I think some people need to understand too, because this is a lot behind the scenes too, that this is a shared space, not just within the Point Park community, but within tenants of the Wisdom Tree building. So Point Park, from what I understand, also has a floor on the 11th. They have half of the floor up above, from my understanding, and of course
Oh, I didn't know that.
they have the whole 10th floor. Well, if you use the podcasting hub, you have to go in and book through the media hub and it has to get approved. Well, of course, we are not paying clients, or I think CityCast and their other media outlets and higher up outlets, they're not, they're tenants,
Attendance.
they're
Yeah.
tenants. They pay for the space, and of course, they get like top priority and they get, reserved. Today's situation was a little awkward. I think they needed to record 21 things. They had a lot of time because they had to get in there well before us. We had it booked from 11:30. Then they asked if we could go to noon. Then they said, "Can we have another 5 minutes? Can we have another 10 minutes?" At some point, when you use a shared space, you have to be mindful of the people before you, and you have to be mindful of the people after you. And I have to be in the nicest way because you may use these folks down the line. You have to be responsible and be respectful of your fellow people. We had to literally cut down Keith Palo's interview time from like an hour and 15 to 40 because we were rushed. We had a promo. We had to get pictures. We also had to set up the room. We had to clear. We had to set the white balance. You had to white balance the camera. You had to make sure there was enough time on the audio. Please be mindful if you're using another space before and after you that you're just not the only tenant. You're not the only guest. Yes, you may be paying, and that's fine. You can pay and you can get your name on the wall. Congrats. But there's a time down the road that there's other people that need that space and they're on a time crunch and they booked it for a reason. They were very respectful when they said, "Can we have another 10 minutes?" And we said no. That's great, but I think this is going to start happening more often, and I'm going to get a little bit more irritated every time. Because when you have some of these guests, like Dean Palo made a tremendous amount of time, but we had to allow him 10 minutes to get from point A to point B because he had to rush over to another meeting. And there's going to come a time when there's going to be no time allotted, and we're going to look like the bad guy saying, "Come on, let's go, hurry it up. You got to get out of there." In fact, you went over your slotted time. We get it. You're paying tenants, but again, we're also people who are building a broadcast or building a podcast and have branched and have made the connections and are bigger and getting the names out there.
And you hit the nail on the coffin, Nick. I mean, you were 100% correct with everything you just said. I have no disagreements. The fact that they thought it was okay to go over. Now, again, I know me and you joke around a lot
Right.
and we both mess with each other, but we both can agree that we have respect for
Yes.
others. And sometimes we're a little too nice in the sense where we let others walk all over us because we don't want to seem like the bad guy or seem like we're being pushy. And you saw that with me today. What did I say when they peeked their head around the corner and said 5 more minutes? I said, that's fine. Go right ahead. I was like, but please be quick.
Yeah.
And then 10 minutes, me and you, it was Lucas, you, myself, Conti, and Halo all were in the hall talking. They came up to ask for 10 more minutes. What was my exact words?
No.
I think I said definitely not.
Yeah,
They
you're
said
like
can't.
definitely not.
And I think Conti and Palo were both shocked that I said it like that. But I was heated because I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You already go over the expected time. You weren't supposed to be here to begin with. You asked for 5 minutes, and now you're asking for 10 more minutes? At this point, it's 12:07. 12:07.
Which right there already has to cut the time because Palo has a 1 o'clock meeting.
And thank
Plus,
God Palo stayed till around 1 o'clock. I think he left at 1:02.
he left well before that. It was 12:51.
Was it? I could have sworn. Well, no, because he talked to us afterwards. I'm talking about like when he actually left the room.
Oh, when he actually left, it was like 1:02. He stayed
Exactly.
like
That's what I meant.
five.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he stayed like 5, 10 minutes after to talk to us, see if we needed anything, talk about if he could
Which is
come back
great.
on, which
Yep.
is fantastic. But at some point in time, let's just, I don't even want to be rude and call this out. They couldn't even put the room back together, let alone, get out of there on time. We not only had to set up, two of the mics were down. We had to
Yep.
add one. I had to get the tables. I'm sorry, but when you have a shared space, you have to be respectful.
And this is just not us calling out CityCast, although they did it to us today. This goes for anybody that not just uses the Media Hub, the CMI, or any form of a media space, whether it's at Point Park, whether it's at Duquesne, Carlo, CMU, it doesn't matter where you're at. If you are sharing a space with a group of individuals that all have the same passion and same desire as you, be mindful of them. Is it really that hard to show some respect? I mean, respectfully, Nick, me and you, I'm 21. You're not even 21 yet. These people are grown ass adults. Come on.
And I feel like
Blows my mind.
I know, and I always say this. Did you clear the car? Did you do this? Can you put the room? Can you do this? Can you put this chair over
Yes.
here? Can you put this table? I'm sorry, but I think at some point we do go above and beyond. We always clear the card. We cleared for Steel City on Wednesdays.
Yes.
You cleared for two Jagoffs Thursdays, and Lucas and I even sometimes even clear it Fridays if we have to, and making sure the room is put back together, making sure the microphones are put back together, making sure the headphones are put back together. At some point in time, I'm gonna just say no. I'm leaving the room as it is because I'm done. Like I don't want to get to that point where I'm fed up, but today really put you over the edge, me over the edge. Can we have another 5 minutes? No, you're already past your allotted time.
No, I agree with you. I'm sorry. I thought you
And
were
I
going
don't
to say
even want to
something
say
else.
like, hey, we're like the bigger and better podcast. I don't even want to go that far. But
No,
if
no, no, not at all. No, no, no.
like
Hey,
I feel like because the city
yeah,
cast and when you're paying tenants, you feel like you have that one up. Well, in this case, you really don't have a one up because that really gets kind of just shows the personality of yourself, the personality of your podcast, and the personality of your brand.
fully agree. Listen, the way you hold yourself is the way you hold your brand. And yes, my podcast is called Two Jagoffs, which kind of plays into me being a Jagoff. I understand that. But in all seriousness, you got to be respectful and mindful of others. And again, this isn't just directed towards the city cast, folks. Yes, they were the prime root of the example
Yeah.
today. But we can name many cases of many other podcasts, and I'll be lying to you. We both even were guilty of maybe leaving the media hub
Right.
a mess one or two times or not clearing something, and we apologize for that because we don't want to set that example. But as people that do use that space on a consistent basis, the Tanner and the security guards even joke that we live there because of how much we're down there. You got to set that example and you got to set the standard. Hey, listen, clean up when you're done. Plug the mics back in. Make sure everything's turned off is cleared. Make sure the room is at least somewhat
Take
presentable
out the
when you
trash.
leave. Take out the trash. Yeah, there was a water bottle in there today when I got in there. Come on. Now listen, you don't have to have all the chairs lined back up perfectly or the mics adjusted like someone's about to record. No, no, no. We can come in and play with it however we want. But at least get it to a point where there's not chairs all over the room like a tornado just came through. Come on.
And microphones on the table unplugged. We try and
Bingo.
prep. What we do is we try and prep for the podcast after us. We have a feeling of who's going to be in there, and we kind of can gauge that. Fridays, Lucas and I know if we record Fridays, normally right after is We Are Family podcast. So normally I would move the table because they do three chairs in a row. I normally get the three chairs and I set them there. Wednesdays, normally there's no one in between Steel City and Thursdays two Jagoffs. So we kind of prep the room on Wednesdays in honor for Thursdays, so you don't have to do that extra behind the scenes or taking that a lot of time.
Exactly. It's all about respect. But me and you could go on this tangent for a while. I feel like we should try and move into some sports now. There's a lot of sports headlines to
Cowboys
cover.
to the Super Bowl.
Now you're excited. Now you're in a good mood.
Yeah,
Now,
because I have some new stats to share.
we will get to those stats in just 1 second. You're probably wondering though, why are we on Zoom? Is it because of the media hub? No, it's actually not. Nick Brown just got home from bingo. I just got home from editing 2 episodes of Two Jagoffs this week because the next 4 days I will be at wrestling events.
Well, and
I will be
we didn't record Monday as well.
and we didn't record Monday. I had a late class. You were tired. We just said whatever, we'll do it today.
Yes.
So here we are. It's Tuesday night. We're recording Steel City Commuters. We did it before. It's no different than anything in the past. But I'm going to be at AEW on Wednesday, and I'll talk more about that experience next week, along with my next 3 days of wrestling. But long story short, I'm going to be busy. I know you're going to be traveling all over the place on on one of these upcoming Thursdays. I know your classes are starting to catch up and stuff. So we both got a lot of other stuff we got to focus on right now. So that's why we're doing this quick episode on Zoom. This next topic, though, is going to be the most controversial. It has to be the Dallas Cowboys. They, of course, have been kind of shaky so far on the start of the season, but I'm going to go to you on this one first, Nick. It's now week 4. The Cowboys are on prime time. They're playing the Green Bay Packers at home with Micah Parsons returning to Dallas for the first time. What's your thoughts on this game? What's your thoughts on last week? And what are these new Cowboy stats that you speak of?
Sunday, I'm probably going to be watching the game on mute for half the time because it is Chris Collinsworth for Sunday night. And I guarantee you he's going to be selecting Micah Parsons and he's probably going to be selecting Dak Prescott and literally will hound you the whole game. Oh my God, what an incredible play. You rewind the tape. He said that last week for Patrick Mahomes. He said that last week for Russell Wilson. Come on, Chris, come up with a new line. I'm starting to get tired of watching SNF. Thank you to Mike Tirico for keeping the hopes alive. Sunday was an absolute disastrous day for the Cowboys. They played against the Bears. Even coming into this game, they were the underdogs, and the Bears were already 0-2. Let's just say Dak did not have a great game. George Pickens was on the sidelines pouting after the game. That normally happens. And CeeDee Lamb is now hurt officially. It's confirmed that he's probably going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. Where this takes the Cowboys is they need to come in with some power. They need a lot of help with George Pickens, but they really need some help on the offense. The offense is the part that is struggling. You could say the defense, but I think the offense is the biggest part right now.
Offense.
They're not scoring. They're not scoring points. They're not putting up points that are worthy. Dak is barely getting any throws. Dak is throwing and he's starting to select some new players, but it's just not the way that I envision this season. Normally you target GP or CD and you're great. But I'm not very impressed how Sunday's game went. Even defense was atrocious, I have to say. But I think Jerry Jones summed it up best. Cowboys are still a Super Bowl contending team.
You make me sick.
Great.
What
Perfect.
what was that take that you just spewed on Zoom? You're gonna sit up here and say the offense is the biggest issue with the Dallas Cowboys right now?
Yes,
My friend, it is the defense.
I
More
disagree.
specifically, the run defense. Okay, explain to me how. How is the defense not bad? What has the defense done positively in your eyes?
They've swept a lot of plays.
Bullshit. Name me one. Name me one big third down stop they had. Name me one big fourth down stop they had. Name me one 15 to 10 yard scamper that they have stopped or at least halted. You want to know the answer? Zero. Dak Prescott. I'm not a Dak Prescott fan. I've made that abundantly clear on this
You're a Cardinals
podcast
fan, and they
since the
still can't even win
Jagoffs.
either.
That's how I know I won the argument because you're bringing up a team that has nothing to do with the conversation. Anyway, talking about Dak Prescott for a second. Dak Prescott went 21 for 34 in the debut against the Philadelphia Eagles, 38 for 52 in that overtime game against the Giants, and 30 for 41, only having 9 incompletions against the Chicago Bears. Dak Prescott is not the issues. He is getting throws off in time. He is making the connections downfield. I do agree with you on the fact that losing CD is big because CD was his favorite weapon. George Pickens is going to have to step up there. I see some parallels within your take there. But outside of that, it is not an offensive issue whatsoever. You could say they have a hard time at starting a run game, which is not opening up the
Well, if you
passing
can't
game.
score points, then who do you blame?
Well, guess what? That's not Dallas's issue. Dallas's biggest issue is actually preventing points because they gave up 31 points to one of the worst offenses in the league. That is the biggest issue. Williams has finally woke up with the Chicago Bears. We were questioning whether or not Caleb Williams actually was worthy of being a starting quarterback in this league, worthy of being the former number 1 overall pick, worthy of being a former Heisman Trophy winner at the University of South California. That is the question marks that we had about Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears going into this game. At the end of the day, though, Dallas, yes, they only put 14 points up on the board, but the bigger storyline is they gave up 31. 31 points. Yes, it was in Chicago, but it's the Bears on primetime football. I'm happy with this win. I'm glad my boy Ben Johnson finally was able to put together a win. I'm
Prime
glad
time.
Caleb Williams. Excuse me?
Prime time. They played at 4:25. I don't consider that prime.
425 slot. They were like the American game they were hyping up. I shouldn't have said
Oh, it
prime
was
time. I
on
take that
Fox.
back.
Well, it was on Fox. When you have, Fox at
Yeah, they were more.
4:25. That
I meant to say it was the national game. I apologize. It wasn't the primetime game. I
I was
meant to
gonna
say
say
national game.
prime time.
But
I
the
I I was dead Sunday night when that happened.
No, I was getting into their game with Green Bay. They're on primetime this week. I apologize. I misworded what I was going to say. But no, Chicago, how do you go from playing a Chicago Bears team on national television to now playing arguably the best team in the NFC and the Green Bay Packers on prime time, which this one is actually prime time. Listen, I know Green Bay lost to the Browns last week. That's a whole different story. But this game right here was god awful. I'm here to tell you right now, Nick Brown, the Super Bowl chances have officially dropped to zero.
No,
That's the new stats
no,
that I'm coming up with. It is
no.
0% chance. Hold on. It is 0% chance the season's over.
Yeah, okay. Buddy, you need some new stats. Let's give you the rundown. Sunday entering this game, they were at a 90.
Hmm.
After Jerry Jones said that we're still a Super Bowl contending team, they went up to 95. And now entering this game against Green Bay, we are now at a 99.
99.
99. Wake up. Smell it. It's all coming. Because I'm going to come in with a hot take. Micah Parsons is now a Green Bay Packers fan. I think that's going to fan player. That's going to motivate the Dallas Cowboys, Dak, his old teammates, and even new teammate GP to go in there and their Cowboys are at home to beat the Green Bay Packers bad. I think Cowboys are going to win big on Sunday Night Football.
Ah,
I think maybe they put up 30 points or more. Hello, talking that.
I'm speechless. I'm speechless by the nonsense that you just spewed.
I
The
see
fact that,
I see Dallas putting up 30 points.
but the offense is the biggest issue.
I think they have a lot to work on between this week.
Well, no, no, time out, time out, time out. You just dug your own grave. You just
No,
dug your own grave.
no,
You're telling me, okay, well, I'm going to quote you real quick. Back whenever Michael Parsons originally got traded, you said that this is going to automatically make Green Bay's defense superior to
it
their
is.
fellow rivals.
It
Right or
is.
wrong? Okay, cool. Now that you said that, cool. We're both on the same page. I agree with you. Green Bay is superior now with Micah Parsons to opposing NFC teams. What your original claim was the Dallas Cowboys' biggest issue is their offense. But you're saying they're going to come in and win this game big and put up 30 plus points against a superior defense.
Yes.
How? How?
Because when you have a former teammate on an opposing team that's probably going to be one of the best teams now in football, that makes you even want to go out there and fight even harder, fix your issues within the week. And I think Brian Schottenheimer is the
Oh,
perfect
stop that. That's
person. He is
nonsense.
the perfect person in this case to showcase that. I am so hyped for Sunday Night Football, maybe with the TV muted, besides that. But I will be staying up to watch this game fully because I'm expecting a big win.
And what happens if they don't win?
Well, we'll get to that Monday and next week. But
Do you want me to be do you want me to be serious or do you want me to joke around a little more about your Cowboys?
you can be serious.
I actually do have a concern about the Green Bay Packers in all seriousness in this game. I'm concerned about Jordan Love in crunch time. This
Yes,
has been an ongoing issue, and this is actually me being legit here. I actually said this on two Jagoffs, and you can pull up the clip to even quote me on this. I did say the Green Bay Packers might struggle if Dallas keeps it close and they keep it close early. If the Cowboys want a realistic shot of winning this game, they can do so if they go up early and they maintain that lead. I'm not necessarily saying they have to put up 30 points. They can well easily score 14 or 17 points, but if they can keep Green Bay to that subpar range, they'll be fine because Jordan Love has an issue with scoring within the 2 minute drill. He has one of the worst 2 minute drills. Actually, I would say outside of Tua and maybe the rookies, he probably has the worst 2 minute drill in football out of any starting quarterback. Jordan Love, like Baker Mayfield, I think we can all say is the best 2 minute drill. Josh Allen's up there. Mahomes is up there. Kyler Murray's up there. I would even say Dak Prescott's up there because Dak has this nice 2 minute drill. Jalen Hurts is up there. But you cannot sit up here with a straight face and tell me that Jordan Love did not cost them that game against the Cleveland Browns. He looked awful in that last 2 minute stretch. Yes, I get the blocked field goal. Yes, I got it returned for a touchdown, but I will give Dallas some credit here. If they can keep Jordan Love on his toes and on his toes early on, Dallas could win this game. The reason why I don't think they are is because of the original statement that I made. The real biggest issue on this team, and that is their defense.
Oh, I think the defense
Specifically
is
the run
showing up.
defense, specifically the run defense, because Josh Jacobs is a monster. Go ahead.
I think the defense is showing up loud and proud, especially it's at home. This is a prime time game, and everybody is probably taking the Packers. Most of these teams, if not every team, loses games they're supposed to win and win games that nobody really even like is shocked, like nobody really even cares about. Dallas lost a game that they were supposed to win. Now, everybody is probably picking the Packers heading this week. I guarantee you that you and LK and your dad probably picked the Packers. I guarantee it. I have a good
Yeah.
amount of, I told you, I am taking the underdog and I'm going with the Dallas Cowboys.
You think Dallas is better? Dallas's offense is better than Dallas' defense.
Yes.
Name me five Dallas offensive players right now,
You
starting.
have Dak, CD, Prescott. There is he just started throwing up to I don't know if it's Vaughn or not Hillard, but it's trying to think of his name. He literally just threw to him. Trying to think another one off the top of
That's
my
fine. I'll give you.
head.
I'll give you four.
Give you four.
Okay, now name me five starting defensive players on the Dallas Cowboys.
I don't know. I have.
Exactly. That is my point. If the Dallas defense was as good as you claim they are, you had no problem naming four of the starters on Dallas's defense.
But why does that matter to you? Just because they don't show up when you think they're going to show up doesn't mean they're going to show up when I think they're going to show up. Just let the game play. You just pick the Green Bay Packers. You can sit on the couch. That's fine.
Here's here's why I claim this. In 3 weeks of football that we have seen so far, and over the last 2 years, this is stats. You can look it up. This is not an opinion. This is facts. The Dallas Cowboys defense has not showed up. If you want a prime example, look at the playoff game against Green Bay. If you want a prime example, look at week 13 last year against Philadelphia. If you want a prime example, look at that overtime game against the New York Giants last week. There are plenty of examples that show why the defense stinks. And statistically, things have gotten
Stats are
worse since
stats.
Micah
Come
Parsons has
on.
left.
Stats are
Okay, you're
stats. Come on. They're just things to talk about. They're things to create the airspace. Just let the
okay.
game play.
Fine, we'll let the game play. So name me five of the players that's playing then. Name me five of the defensive players. Name me two.
Why does that even matter? Why
Name
are
me
you
two.
no, why are you so focused on people naming players? Just let the defense show up and
Okay.
watch you blow them out of the park.
What defense though? What defensive players? Which ones do you want to show up specifically?
Because you just say they're stats. Okay, great.
No,
That's
no, no. We're
fine.
not talking about stats. We're not talking about stats. I'm asking about. We're talking about the players now.
Just let
We're
the
talking
whole
about the ones
team
that's
show
actually
up.
playing the game.
Just let the whole team show up. Who cares?
Because I'll tell you who I'm looking forward to seeing. Deron Bland. That's one of your Dallas starting corners right now. He was a defensive
He
player.
hasn't showed up. He's been sleeping on the sidelines.
Exactly. He's a defensive player of the year candidate 2 years ago. I want to know what happened. He was right there. He had 7 interceptions over a 5 game span 2 years ago. Where is that now? What about Trayvon Diggs, who was argued as one of the best corners?
And
Dante
I
Fowler
and
Jr.?
I don't hear you giving Kansas City this kind of crap because they haven't showed up the past 3 weeks.
Oh, we haven't even talked about the Chiefs. I'll gladly get on them. I mean, clearly, you haven't listened to two Jagoffs. I have been all over the Chiefs these last couple weeks.
Because I have,
I've been,
especially with officiating. Chris Collinsworth was like baffled by all these calls. It's about damn time.
I don't know. I'm just saying, you're not making a strong case.
Oh, we cite stats, and I do it as well. But we cite stats. But I think a great line
I'm not
is
citing stats.
I'm
I'm
in
not.
general. Past performance is no guarantee of future results. Past performance stats in football is no guarantee of future football games and what this player may be able to achieve and what this person can do. And you know, this hasn't happened since 1960 some. Like, come on. Let's stop talking about what happened in the 1960s and 1950s and let's get what's happening in 2025.
Okay, you're right. Let's talk about what's happening in 2025. Do you believe Dak Prescott deserves this contract with the way he's playing in 2025?
I don't.
You don't.
I don't agree.
Okay. Just leave it at that then. Thank you. I appreciate it. I don't agree. I agree with you, but
I mean,
thank
but
you.
this is what we're doing. We just give people money like it's no tomorrow. I mean, you could say that for any QB, any run backer, any linebacker, any wide receiver. You're just giving them money, and we base them on stats. But sorry, stats are nothing. It's a person's ability. Who cares about their stats, really? In all honesty, I hate looking at this person's stat because one game doesn't define them, a whole year doesn't define them. Just let them play football. Let them enjoy.
And the Micah Parsons trade you would say is a mistake?
Well, yeah, we knew that, but that's just Jerry again, getting in the way of things, and I think he's been a big issue. I wish Jerry would sell the team, honestly. I think this would create a whole new environment.
That I agree with you on. I said it before and I'll say it again. It's
You can say
Jerry's
the same
world.
for the Steelers.
Yeah, we could. Let's talk about the Steelers. What's your thoughts on them this past Sunday? They had a rough win against the Patriots.
When you have
They got an
five
Ireland game now against the Vikings.
Vikings, when you have five turnovers and you only score 21 points, I'm sorry, I don't even know where in the hell your offense is. On the sideline in a football, I people are praising Mike Tomlin because it's a win, and Mike Tomlin was talking after the press conference. I'm so tired of hearing him saying a win is a win in an NFL and all this and that. Buddy, you need to sit your ass down and figure out how to get your players to actually show up, score, not have a 41-year-old quarterback, not have a player TJ Watt not like finally make some and here we go back to this house. Finally showing up and tackling, to finally getting something done.
Yes, I agree.
Finally, you have used DK Metcalf. Finally, you have used Darnell Washington, someone who is 6'8", 300 and some pounds. Where's your coaching? And Arthur Smith got to go. I'm sorry. This is the offense. You pass 5 yards, and we call that even the guys on NFL. Oh my God, we got a first down, buddy. It was 5 yards. You need to open up the playbook. I've said this every year. You need to open up the playbook. I'm tired of seeing the 3 yard, 4 yard runs. Calvin Austin had a decent play. He actually made a great play.
Mhm.
Jalen Warren, uh, he runs so much that I don't even just, when they say he got 5, 6, 7, 8 yards, great. But you literally run the ball 3 out of the 4 downs. In all honesty, if you don't run it on first down, you're probably going to run it on fourth down if you go for it. And I think the defense needs to come up with some good stops here. It was 3rd and 1, it was 4th and 1, 3rd and 3, 4th and 1, 4th and 2. They didn't show up. If you can't show up against the Patriots, I don't know how you're going to show up against the Vikings who put up 48 points on Sunday.
I disagree with you on your last remark. The Steelers' defense most certainly showed up last week. They forced two different fumbles and two interceptions, but that's besides the point. I will say this: everything that you said about the Steelers' offense is pretty much spot on. They finally utilized Darnell Washington, which was key in the end zone. They should have been doing that ever since they drafted him.
Yeah.
I don't know why it took them so long to figure out. The run game is awful, but I will say Aaron Rodgers is actually playing good football. I was very surprised with the way he has been playing these first 3 weeks with the Steelers. Obviously, it's nowhere near his prime Green Bay days, but to sit up here and say Aaron Rodgers is playing like a bad quarterback is simply not true. I've not seen any signs of slowing down of Aaron Rodgers since he's debuted with the Steelers. I mean, when you take a snap under center, Nick, I mean, I'm going to kind of quote our man Keith Paolo here for a second. He has no time to throw the ball. He should be in the shotgun every single play of the game. And I will also say this: why are the Steelers running zone on 3rd down? That's a defensive scheme that I have not seen in a while out of them, but it's surprisingly working. TJ Watt actually looked good. I got to give him credit. Cam Hayward, as much drama as he caused this offseason, he actually looked good. The secondary is a concern for me because of injuries, but in all honesty, you're not going to really need a secondary against this Vikings team. This Vikings team is going to be all ground and pound in Ireland. They do not have a quarterback. I actually listened to part of your new management podcast. You and Lucas sounded high saying that Carson Wentz could still be a starting quarterback in this league. I have not seen no evidence of it yet. When he does, please present it to me. You have my email. I would love to watch the film on it. But Carson Wentz versus Aaron Rodgers is an interesting matchup because you get a veteran in Rodgers who was an MVP and a player in Carson Wentz who was actually in the MVP running a couple years ago. But of course, the injury slowed him down, and then Hurts took over, and you know the snowball effect that led afterwards. I got to give the Steelers some credit, though. Defense showed up last week. That offense did not, though. The offensive line is bad. The running back room is bad. DK proves to be yet again another good addition. And I'm glad you gave Calvin Austin that shout out because not a lot of people are. And I believe he does deserve it because he actually looked pretty solid in the couple plays that the Steelers did utilize him in.
So you're thinking on all the options that the Steelers have had, Aaron Rodgers was the one that stood out at 40, 41 years old. Come on. That's
Wait,
just
what are you
like
talking about? Wait. No, you're putting words in my mouth. What are you saying? That's not what I'm saying.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is playing great football. I'm sorry, I don't.
How?
He looks awful.
How does he look awful?
He looks, in general, if you look at him over
How?
a
Tell me. I
long
mean,
game,
I'm not trying to fight. I'm just saying how. How does he look awful? He does not.
he cannot scramble or run very well.
Okay, Dak can't either. There's
Who's
a lot of
older?
quarterbacks that can't run. Dak can't. Carson Wentz can't. Joe Burrow. What's your point?
I'm sorry. if you had all these options and you laid out on the
Ben
table,
couldn't run. Ben couldn't run. He's a Hall of Famer.
you
What you talking
cannot
about?
you cannot tell me that Aaron Rodgers was the best decision. I don't buy it.
I
Honestly, I
never said
don't.
he was the best decision. I never said that.
Not you in general. Listen, we're saying that Aaron Rodgers is playing great football. In reality, he's had 509. Oh, here we go. Another shot. 509 touchdown. He's like putting fourth in the best league. Great. I'm sorry. It's going to be one and done with him. I don't want to see him as a long-term Steelers fan. I really don't. I want someone young in there. I want someone who's going to be able to develop nice. But I also think Tomlin is the issue. When you stick to the Tomlin
Yeah.
playbook, it's the same old crap every year, no matter who you get into quarterback, no matter who you get in as a wide receiver, no matter who you get in as offensive coordinator. The Tomlin playbook is old. It needs to be retired. Find me a younger QB, find me a younger head coach, and surely find me another offensive coordinator, Arthur Smith, someone who's
I
not.
agree. Well, I agree with you on the coaching staff, but I mean, a 97 QBR, 600 passing yards, only
Oh,
eight
here we go.
touchdowns, and only three turnovers. I mean, that's solid numbers for the first 3 weeks of the regular season. I mean, if we want to look at bad quarterback stats, pull up Tua Tagovailoa stats. That's a bad quarterback stat room. Pull up Cam Ward's.
He's had
Hell,
a lot
I'll
of
even
health
throw my
issues, and he's an outlier. Tua
who.
Tagovailoa. Tua, he's had a lot of concussions. I think one more concussion puts him over the limit that he's done with football, and it may happen this season because every season he starts off very well, but it always ends up middle and towards the end of the season there's a very bad injury for Tua, and I think he's only able to sustain if that. I don't even think he's able to sustain any more. He's been through how many concussions now?
Right.
Three?
No, I'm not disagreeing with you on that at all. And I know we're wrapping up on time
Yeah.
here, but no, just end off what I'm saying about Aaron Rodgers. He's not the problem. He is not the problem at all right now in
But he's surely
Pittsburgh.
not the solution.
I agree with you on that. That's a good
He's
point. He is
surely
not
not
the
the
solution.
solution.
He's not the solution, but we cannot sit up here and spread fake news saying that he's the problem because he's nowhere near it.
And I
The
think
person that's coaching the team is. I do agree with you on
and
that.
Sunday's game will define how they can play against the Vikings.
Final predictions. Who do you got?
Whoa.
It's tough. I'll tell you who I got. Ready?
You got the
Boom.
Vikings. I'll take Steelers for my hometown.
All right. There we go. That's a wrap. Ladies and gentlemen, pretty big debate style episode of Steel City. See, that's why I love coming on with you, Nick, because me and you have different ideas. We're able to discuss them, able to debate them. Two Jaguars was kind of too much of agreeing this week. My dad wasn't on to add that debate aspect, so
And
we
LK
agreed a
just
lot.
picks the favorite. Half the time they're home teams.
Well, that's for you guys to settle on new management. That's your guys. But no, great episode as always. We're looking forward to being back in the media hub next week, right after GJ's class. Any final words you want to leave with the audience?
Oh, it's going to be one hell of a week for football, especially Sunday night. It's going to be hard
Yeah,
to
go.
watch.
Cardinals finally get a primetime game this week too, baby. Let's go.
On Amazon Prime that nobody watches.
Yeah, I'll be on TNF. Sorry, guys.
You'll be what? No, you says you're going to have the game pulled up as TNF is happening. Don't let that slip away. Believe me, I'll be the first one
Okay,
to.
you got me. You got me. Yes, I will be watching the game during Thursday Night
Who
Fight.
do you
Sorry,
pick?
Toddy. Don't.
Seahawks or Cardinals?
I
Seahawks
picked the
are
Seahawks.
Seahawks are shining. They may be a Super Bowl contending team. Who knows?
We don't have enough time to debate that.
Yeah.
We don't have enough time to debate that. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Steel City. Big episode 40, Keith Palo this Sunday. Make sure you stay tuned. I'm Austin. That's Nick. See you in the next one. Peace.
Peace.